And we back. This should be taken without Hood X for Hood X Radio. I am joined as usual with my co-host slash God Body in the Flesh, Pomo.
What up, what up?
Agent. What's up, bro?
You got it, man. We'll keep this moving, you know, sound like a train.
Man, I was super excited. We got to do 2 shows back to back. This is, you know, it ain't too often we get to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely trying to move off the momentum that, you know what I'm saying, on the last show. And, you know what I'm saying, trying to keep the energy going.
Right. But today we're going to probably take it a little different direction. Try to ease y'all into the prelude of intergalactical talk, what we mean, how it sounds, and what it's about. You know.
You're going into intergalactical talk.
Yeah, you know, that's when you go a little bit higher than the Earth. You know what I'm saying? You take it to the outer level of space, the universe. It's when you got your imagination intact. That's the only way you're going to get there.
You know, this show, we do the Hood X Lit, which is like, you know, breaking down the lit, which is like, you know, trying to spoon feed, you know, very large concepts and small concepts. Like, you said you want to do something on this show, and then like this is a little bit more of an advanced.
Yeah, it's a little bit more advanced. You know, sometimes you know there's people out there studying, and they be looking for something other than what they already know. You know, or what something other than what they already been hearing. And in this case,
probably I wouldn't do this shit. You know this for the record. I would never
do this. But now we got to put this out here because this chapter pertains to the ideal of building. And like if you read science or the lit or information, people tend to instantly want to share it. And they have no radius or no way to determine if they should share it or if they shouldn't share it. You know, so this chapter out of intergalactical talk is very important into proceeding forth into the future development of waking motherfuckers up.
So you saying the decision to share? What you say? The decision to share it or not to share?
Right. To try to teach, not to teach. To try to tell or not to tell. That's what a lot of conscious people running into. To be excited.
To teach or not to teach.
Yeah, don't cast pearls to swine. First, you got to figure out this motherfucker swine. We finna give you that measuring tool.
So you're saying this lit is a measuring tool to determine whether or not
you should open your mouth or not.
To determine whether or not you should try to teach this person or not.
Yes, because everybody.
This is a measuring tool to weigh that decision out.
Right. First, you got to realize it's a measuring tool. Second, you got to realize that you just think about that saying that to everybody. It makes you more depressed. It makes your mission more harder. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I get it.
The person wake up.
What's that?
You read something, and then you with a person that kind of like to kick in the party. But it's just what happened that what you read was enlightening to you. I mean, you ain't read nothing enlightening in your life. You say, "Oh, I'm gonna share this with her." And you talking to her, she's not even in your realm. She's not even thinking what the hell you talking about. You know what I'm saying? But you trying to figure out why she ain't picking up or receiving it the way you receive it. And so you kind of get.
This shit happens to me all the time.
But what's happening is.
This shit happens to me all the time.
What's happening is you ain't understanding you can't do this for everybody. You have to determine who to pick, when, and where to pick your battles. Don't care what's the swine. You got to determine what's the swine.
I ain't no arguing with them trying to explain shit. I ain't no arguing with them motherfuckers.
Yeah, because you're not paying attention. You're not even asking yourself, is this person capable of learning?
How do you know somebody capable of learning?
That understanding non-linear and linear thinking. What we finna break down tonight.
Non-linear and linear thinking.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like non-linear is a certain way of thinking, and linear thinking is a certain way. So linear is which one is that? That's straightforward. Non-linear, which one? Non-linear thinking.
Okay, so the name of this show is linear versus linear thinking. And we're like, I don't have this is a brand new concept to me. Normally, I would never do this shit. You know what I'm saying? I would never do this shit. Typically, I don't even do audio on the lit at least about 9 months into after the lit is posted. And I usually don't write lit until 9 months after we explore the concept. So typically, like, we're exploring this concept today. It'd be another 9 months before I even write this lit, and it'd be another 9 months before we even do the audio. But today, we gonna go non-linear. we gonna go straight from conceptual into making the media on it. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know nothing about this, so I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. Hopefully I don't you know what I'm saying, piss you off, but you don't have to break this shit down to me.
Okay.
Alright, so tonight's show I want to say is sponsored by HoodX TV network in Houston. Tonight we are broadcasting live for our first time in Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? You can go to hoodx.com and check that out. So we got the live link right on there. We're gonna be playing all exclusive HoodX material. Don't forget, you can go to HoodX, upload your media up there, and we will blast it nationwide for you. You know what I'm saying? All right, so make sure you check out HoodX Television Network tonight in Houston. We debut. All right, so linear versus non-linear thinking. You saying, just to recap real quick, you saying now, if I'm in a car with somebody, or if I'm talking to somebody, and I just came up, I just discovered a new concept, and I want to share this with this person. You know what I'm saying? I go through a filtering process before I even just start giving them this information, because that's what you're saying.
Correct. And you got to be aware that there is a process. There is something you might want to check out before you start talking. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. They just say, oh, look what I learned. Let me go share it. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool, but you got to remember this person is in the middle of their sleep. So it's like you waking somebody up. You just go to them and grab them and throw them up, or do you shake them a little bit? Let them move a little bit, shake them a little bit, let them move, and then they wake up on their own. Or you just get up, people don't wake each other up like that. But that's how it is when you sharing information to these people.
Right. People kind of going off the energy, and they're like, you know what I'm saying? We got a link called Don't Give In to the Astonishment, which is basically like, you know what I'm saying? When you first hear some shit you ain't never heard before, your mind go like, what's Dharma, right? That's what you call Dharma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Dharma basically saying you so gone off the thought that you're not weighing out.
You want to share it. No, you just want to share it. You see what I'm saying? And you think people going to receive it like you received it. But just because you're not aware of how to measure if a motherfucker sleep or woke before you even waste your time. So non-linear, as I read, as it states, is the sleep. And linear thinking is the woke. Non-linear is like a straight line. A to B, straight, forward. No left, no right. It's the same, just straight, direct. You know what I'm saying? Almost like animalistic thinking, which it is.
You send me this link. I want to read this real quick.
Read a little bit of
Right. I want to see how they break it down before you break it down, because you break it down more concrete. So I'm going to read this. It's a linear versus non-linear thinking. This is not that long, so try to keep up. Linear thinking is a process. Say what?
Like, stop every now and then, or you're going to go through the whole thing.
No, you can go. If you want to cut me out, you can stop me. I'm just going to read it, you know what I'm saying? But like, if I don't know, you want to cut me off, really. All right, linear versus non-linear thinking. The linear thinking is the process of thought following known step-by-step progression where a response to a step must be elicited before another step is taken. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Linear thinkers put things in order as they experience them in a sequential manner, like straight line. A straight line between 2 points has always been the way that we have educated the most effective way to get from one place to another. Linear thinkers see the world mostly as black and white, the polarity structure, or bi-wave influences. A person limited to linear thinking has mental blocks in reaching more options for resolution or reaching compromise because they cannot perceive outside certain parameters. An example of limitation of linear thinking is the capacity to creatively problem solve an issue if the primary procedure breaks down, to find alternate ways to inquire or to ask the right questions in the problem-solving equation, or to find balance point for resolution. Additionally, linear thinkers do not communicate with the concepts inherent in living things like land, animals, and nature, because linear thinking is repetitious, and in many situations, the outcome or result never changes. This stunts higher sensory perception and suppresses consciousness. The mind gets stuck in a gear of belief and linear experiences that cannot shift out of. The more inflexible the mind, the weaker it is. All right, so they're saying linear thinking is basically, like you said, a straight line from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. That's what I got from it.
Sleep. Right. Non-linear thinking is dynamic, or what you call a free spirit. You know what I'm saying? Where
hold on, let me break down linear thinking first. Hold on, because I'm gonna read the non-linear thinking too. But I just want to get a. So who are these type of people? Who are these? Like what I just read. Like, can you give me some examples of these type of people?
Mostly average, everyday people. You know what I'm saying? These are people we call the matrix. It's in the matrix, bugs the matrix. You know, these are people that you see around you, and they basically like 1, 2, 3. You know, there's no imagination. You know, so you may have a person that's got an imagination, which is a non-linear thinker. And the non-linear thinker might say, you know, you're at McDonald's and the sun's shining through the window, and they might say, let's sit down and eat. Let's experience this moment. You see the sun, you see the sunshine, you see the table, you see y'all sitting there, you see something different. You know, a linear thinker. Linear thinker like, hell no, I ain't trying to sit here. I'm taking my food and go home. We're going to go to the drive-thru. So there's no imagination in that. There's just straight, you know, 1, 2, 3. Get the food, order it, get in the car, go home. Versus chips, eating this motherfucker, catch this sunlight real quick, laugh, you know. We ain't been here in a while. Linear thinker thinking, no, nigga, this McDonald's. Non-linear thinking like, it ain't about that shit. It's about the experience and the magic, you know, the moment. So when you play it like, yeah, we were sitting at McDonald's, we started to eat. The shit was good as hell. It was funny because the sun was shining so hard, it felt like we was at the beach. You see what I'm saying? So your imagination is powerful.
Paint a better picture.
Huh?
Your imagination will paint a better picture.
Right. It should give you a better perception in all levels of life. Right. Now go back to where it said what you read. It said they don't fuck with the birds. Am I right or wrong? Or nature? Nothing like that, right?
Linear people, right? Hold on. It's a linear people cannot perceive outside a certain parameter. Additionally, linear thinkers do not communicate with the consciousness incoherent in living things like the land, the animals, and nature. Okay, they don't communicate with these things.
Non-linear gonna say, baby, let's walk through the park. Let me hold your hand while I tell you these stories about the wind blowing, trees going back and forth, cheering, sounding like you're walking through a sea or ocean, going down this path, and y'all see the beauty of linear thinker, non-linear, linear thinker. Gonna be like, nah, what the fuck? I ain't trying to walk. You know what I'm saying? You might get bit by a mosquito. The parameter is set for their perception. They don't see the beauty in the tree and how tall it is and the majesty of it while they're sitting on these blocks.
So what type of shit do linear people typically be on?
It's just black and white. That's a tree. It's sunny. There go some animals. Bugs out. Let me get the spray. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear this. You're right. You set it out there and wind blowing. You got a big ass tree in front of your crib and it's going shh. Now, linear think the ocean. Close his eyes and take his mind there. Linear think, shit, that wind blowing hard as hell. So y'all could get 2 different rounds at the same time, and that's often what happens with a lot of relationships.
So that's more animalistic thinking.
Basically, it's the potential. That's how you judge. If motherfuckers say, damn, them trees sound like the ocean, that person has the potential to build with. I ain't gonna say they gonna build with you, but they have the potential. That's where you share the information with. If them motherfuckers say, damn, them trees going hard as hell, I hope it's gonna be a tornado. That's a motherfucker you don't say shit to, you just study. So it's basically the potential is what we getting at. It's giving the conscious community a way to measure, should I open my mouth or should I keep my mouth closed? Should I cast spells?
I'm going to ask you this question, but I don't want you to answer right now. I'm going to have you answer it later, but I'm going to ask you right now just to the listeners, just to get this thought in their head. And like I said, I want you to answer later, but like, you know, can you teach a linear person to become non-linear in that, like, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if it ain't in you, it ain't in you, or can you actually put that perception in somebody? Like I said, now I don't want you to answer it now because I'm going to come back and I want to compare now, like we breaking down linear right now. I want to break down non-linear, but then I want you to come back and you know what I'm saying? But hold on, it's the last little part of this linear thinking, and then I want to break it down a little bit more. Then I want to do non-linear. They say most people perceive the external structures of reality based on information conveyed by their main senses, which is their operating sentience level. Some people have 5 main senses that are controlled by their unconscious mind function, and others with developed higher sensory perception have accumulated more sensory ability by expanding their access into the higher mind function. If sensory information is missing or partially blocked or misunderstood through the wrong perception, people impose their semblance in linear order without the benefit of all the proper information. This is assuming something to be true and accurate while holding only the tiniest infinitesimal variable that prevents one from seeing the whole large facts or the larger picture. Purely linear thinking ultimately confines the intelligence to lower aspects of the mind and the lower instinctual senses. Linear thinking contracts energy. Linear thinking contracts consciousness and limits expanded sensory feelings as intuition. Though addicted linear thinkers close down their hearts, and this closes down their body feeling mechanism. Well, what the hell did I just read?
Right. At the beginning, you talking about college. 9-year-old boy, 12-year-old girl, graduated college, 12 years old, Harvard. Oh, she's a genius. She's smart as hell. Remember, he said they have only the infinite, tiniest bit of knowledge of the world. So they're considered smart as hell due to other linear thinkers and great thinkers. And all you did is remember what the structure have gave you, or the matrix that gave you to remember. They don't know shit about chemistry. They don't know shit about what we talking about. They don't know shit about the unseen scene. They don't know shit about the ball. They don't know shit about, you see what I'm saying? But they can tell you the geometry of a square and how to write calculus and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the example of supreme linear, or what you were just saying. That's when it's in its deepest form. Now, contract meaning is that thinking pulls in strange. So when a person around this person and they just like full of life, feel God body, and they're around this person communicate, you'll notice you get sleepy, tired, you know, unfocused. That's that mainstream linear thought pulls, contracts, it don't give, it takes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which in time, as you keep thinking like this, it causes a greater distortion. So meaning is you get more locked in. You now sharp and crystallized, you get more locked in. All you is a program now. You just do the same shit with no results. So people go to church every day, talk about Jesus will come back, Jesus will come back. You know, I know seen Jesus come back with it. People doing the same thing, and I get just said, well, they get better, getting worse. So that's linear thing. Don't keep going. Instead of saying, let me step back and read this motherfucker myself until I come over here, then go back in there. Matter of fact, let me go to the mosque, then go here, then, you know. They'll never go to that, like a female, male, female, like I said, I want you to be eating oysters. I don't eat oysters. Fuck you, I don't hamburger. Yes, sir. That's maybe a thinking like, you ain't scared to go out and try different things in your life. You just gonna eat these fried cheese, fried hamburgers for race. You know what I'm saying? That's your thought. Just how a person diet, I can tell if they're capable of receiving knowledge.
But you say that we were talking earlier, you said it's calcified, and that the older, what you were saying, the older
you get in that mode of action, the more you get comfortable in your comfort zone, what they call it, keep running to your comfort zone, the more distorted the connection to the higher thought get. The more distorted they get over time, the more you get to never learning, to never understand, because your mode of action is the same. So therefore, if I'm in the car and a linear brother like Joe, I ain't got no gray hair, G. Try to take this female out. A non-linear nigga be like, oh, this cool, baby girl, let's take a ride. She like, okay. Like, Joe, you roll this, so she'll pull up at the park. Let me grab him and tell you a story. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He done took it to some whole other shit. He's free spirit, like, you know, non-linear thinking. He's not concrete to the concepts of the linear nigga thinking you need some money because you know the basic bullshit is gotta take out to eat. You know, we might go to the show. We do that. So due to the limited factor, his linear thinking, which limited him from his higher thought, is he got no imagination, so he can't encapsulate the idea that you ain't even got to do that. Women are very sensitive to smell, so go get you the pine instant. You know what I'm saying? Make the shit smell good. Grab a beat, get some oil, rub a motherfucker's feet, and tell her a story. She gonna remember that more so. So I said, but he don't have his thought. He's stuck in repetition matrix thought. Meaning is I'm not going outside this thought. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you look at you like, well, nigga, you so crazy. Yeah, he just thinking really saying, man, why ain't thinking that? Because they need a thing.
Mm.
You know about where a person dressed, if you deal with him. The nigga got all that red on. Motherfucker Robinson jeans with all them colors and all that. He's mania as hell. I'm gonna get the same shit from Walmart and make it look good. You know what I'm saying? If they motherfucker wearing the clothes, I mean, they the clothes that make the man, it's the man that makes the clothes. Linear thinking, clothes make the man. Non-linear thinking, the man make the clothes.
I be thinking like in the aspect of too, like we were talking about, you know, the age, how it make a difference and the same shit, and then like, you know, how the older you get, they say the harder it is to learn like a new language. You know what I'm saying? And then like once you learn, you know what I'm saying, like a kid, you teach that shit to a kid. You know, a kid can learn 2-3 languages growing up before you reach, you know, 10, 12 years old. But like once you hit 20, 30 years old, it'd be hard as hell to learn a new language and run it through your subconscious and be able to speak it just as well as you think it. You know what I'm saying? Because you be more locked in, and then like you've accepted, you know, the reality that you're in is the reality. You know what I'm saying? So like the notion that you can learn another language and some shit like that, so a lot of people would be foreign in that, like the same shit like when you learn the lick, you know what I'm saying? It's like learning a new language, you know what I'm saying? And I see like a lot of people, not even just the lick, you talking about like astrology or concepts like the Kabbalah and stuff like that. It's a foreign concept. The brain literally can't, you can see it. It's like, okay, they mind can't, it's like you pouring water in a cup, but the cup already full. You know what I'm saying? It's like the water running all over the table. It's like they're like, you know, their mind can't, you know, process the shit. And it's like you say, okay, I mean, one thing you were saying, you was like, man, they automatrix. You saying they don't think the matrix.
They automatrix.
What I
mean is, because you get absorbed into the matrix, after a while you become part of it. So therefore, that program, which is half conscious, mass conscious, is not letting you loose. It's not gonna let you. That's why it's shut down. That's why the man, you know, like you said, the man shut down. You can start blinking, or they go to sleep, or but the circuitry shut down because that's the program. It's to shut down when the mind is going into non-linear thinking. Shut down. It's almost like, nigga, if you think you God, jump off that cliff. Non-linear thinking, nigga gonna jump. Fuck. If he's a frame in this shit, Lenny gonna be like, yeah, I think I'm God, but I ain't gonna jump. Just saying, like, hell no, nigga.
Then we go into non-linear. Non-linear thinking. Non-linear thinking is a developed capacity for spiral thinking and problem solving, which extends into multiple directions as an outward expansion spiral. Rather than thinking step by step, moving in one direction, spiral thinkers inherently know that there are multiple starting points from which one can apply the solution to a problem. Spiral thinkers are able to traverse the many directions the problem may have and find the central root cause or the causal issue of the problem rather than trying to solve the surface problem. Most of the world's problems have a causation of which many layers of other problems are stacked upon layers as a result. This is the type of medical diagnosis giving a label to something that does not address the deeper cause of the root infection. Most linear thinkers keep the mind sliding on the surface, going back and forth, and finally in a circle which remains static. Nonlinear or spiral thinkers allow the mind to go deep to the root of the problem, spiral it out to multiple directions of its source, which is the most effective, deeper impact resolution and change. Spiral thinkers accessing beyond the functions of the 3 layers of the ego mind. They access a new higher sensory ability through the contact made to the higher mind, which is the function of higher consciousness or spirit, energy, intelligence. Train your mind to go beyond linear thought and into non-linear thinking, expands energy, expands consciousness, and potentially opens one's heart and feeling centers. Supreme love. That made a lot more sense than the linear thought. Now I could, like, the words even felt better reading them. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just flowed better. But so this is our body. This is saying approaching it from multiple angles at the same time instead of just one. Having imagination. That's basically what it's saying. With your imagination, it
trigger you to think in different ways. Like I said, he ain't got no money. He think because he ain't got no money, he can't do nothing. I'm going to a multiple point where I can solve this problem in multiple directions. I know women are sensitive to smell, so I'm gonna give her the smell so she can, get a memory. I'm gonna rub her feet because there she go, under the foot rub and telling her a story. It's taking her mind places it's never been. She's gonna remember this moment way before she remember the movie and the food. He can't go to them places. I can go to them places because I'm not trapped. You know why he went to them places? Because of the images he get. So he can't go outside of what the TV show him. Imagine that. You can't go outside what the next person tells you. Imagine that. So you're locked into the matrix because other than what the TV tell you and what the person next to you believe can tell you, you ain't going no farther than that.
So it's a sale in the same situation if you're trying to date a chick or if you see a chick that you might like under the physical act, you looking at her ass, you looking at her titties, and you thinking about fucking, or you say you tell yourself you like this chick. You know what I'm saying? But then if you got a supreme imagination, like you say, you want to take her out or to the park or some shit like that. But if she locked in, she gonna be looking at you like you a weirdo under the act. Like when you say you gotta ask yourself the same shit, like, okay, you ask
do I want to fuck with her?
Do I want to be like this nigga? You gotta ask yourself the same thing with a female. Like, do I really want to go there with this chick? And then like, under the act, like you gonna be caught in the physical on rip. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you don't really run into all of this. What you said, you find out she linear or non-linear until after you then got rid of the lust. Like, you know what I'm saying? By that time, that's when a lot of niggas figure out they're like, hold on, man, I'm gonna switch with women. I'm gonna switch with women. Like, but you know what I'm saying? So find out later on. What did you say?
Yeah. A lot of them find out today they went through the chapter, spent their money and ain't getting none. Or got some and it's crazy, so versus like I said, motherfucker say, I just got to eat oysters. She's like, I don't eat oysters. I say, oh, you lady, you're thinking I can't fuck with you. Me and your man don't go outside of the hamburgers and the cheese fries and tacos. What the fuck I'm gonna do with that?
And sometimes under the lust, the nigga still blind himself to the shit, even though it's subconscious to tell him.
Yeah, but that's linear thinking. I mean, you still asleep. When you woke, you see certain things, a certain taste you acquire out of a certain person. And the first thing you definitely gonna acquire is imagination and a free spirit. If they ain't got that, you just going through the fucking motions. So the ass
don't the nature or the matrix kind of force you back into linear thinking, and sometimes you're gonna have to display linear thinking at some point.
Only if you choose. Only if you choose. You choose. It's only if you choose to.
What do you mean only if you choose to? That's that shit like Kanye said, okay,
if I choose slavery, if I choose to keep if I choose to keep dealing with this motherfucker, even though I know she's asleep, okay, why am I choosing to do this? Because I want to hit it. Okay, so and I gotta choose to go through this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Go to the show, go to the movies, do all this shit, and what's my purpose? Like I do, you smell them. You got supreme imagination, like I said in the last thing, matter what matter. You want to talk to her, you get past all that, you just smell it. And there you go. You smell it, how your mind takes you to how she is, if she clean, if she not, a lot of shit you could tell. Now you know it. So that's all you getting is a fucking smell. Once you get the smell, shit, that's beauty of shit. You know it, design. Cool. So it's really unfamiliar versus familiarity. That's all you searching for. You thinking this ass was basically like, damn, I ain't never seen her before, unfamiliar. I wonder what she like. So the guy go up on me. Okay, cool. I can run with that.
Well, let me ask you. I asked you at the beginning. I said I was gonna wait until we just broke them both down for you to explain. And then listening to you explain, like you say, linear versus non-linear. You know what I'm saying? The natural mind of me, it's like, okay, like I ain't never heard this concept, so
you ain't gonna.
I'm gonna actually want to take this concept to somebody else and break it down soon, just like we were saying. But if I find out that the person I'm trying to talk to is linear and I'm non-linear, you know what I'm saying? Is the goal of what you're telling me to transform somebody that's linear into non-linear? And then, like, can you do that? You know what I'm saying? Is it possible to turn somebody linear into non-linear?
Put it like this: it's the approach like Daniel's son. Mr. Miyagi told Daniel's son when he said, "I want to know karate." He said, "Well, here, wax on, wax off." It's the approach. They can never see you coming. He didn't know why he told him to do that shit, but he was sharpening up his swing and his cheat style, circular motion, like we just said. And saying that is the way you approach it. You sit in the car, you just play the shit. You act like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't act too enthusiastic about telling them. Just mention this shit. Trust me, by you playing it, they're going to be like, God damn, they're going to have these thoughts already. Already shit going to be going on around. I'm like, I just heard this. But you act nonchalant. If you want to try it, ask them through questions. Like, shit, this shit sound crazy. This is how I do it. Put the shit in, or it's playing. Like, man, what the fuck is that? I was like, I don't know. I just heard this crazy ass shit. Go on, let me listen. He said some slick shit. You already know what the fuck they talking about. He don't. But trust me, some of the shit we saying, let somebody else speak for you. If you have a hard time doing it, let the radio speak for you. Replay this shit, let that speak for you. And then once they get familiar with that speaking for you, they're going to start asking questions. Not you, but just like, what the fuck you mean by that? You say something. So you know it, you ain't got to go through the radio no more. He's talking directly to you. How far that's going to go, I don't know. But if you want to play around with it, that's what you do. You want to catch further swine, shit, you just set them up.
I personally don't believe that you can wait, that you can give somebody inquisitiveness, and you can't give somebody curiosity. And then, like they say, apes, you talking to apes speaking sign language, they teach apes hundreds of words, but they still can't teach an ape to actually ask questions, because the ape don't have an understanding the universe outside his own way of thinking. Say what?
Then you say there's no purpose of being supreme. If you're supreme, you can do anything. Shit, that's the purpose of being God body, supreme on your throne. His ability to wake the sleeping man up. That's the Jesus thing. That's the Muhammad. That's all that shit. That's that now. That's the master grip. That's what the purpose of. That you get to a certain level where you gonna say something to wake them up or wake up. You gonna spark a nerve.
Yeah, like you said, you got to looking for the answers, and you got the people that's not looking for the answers, and they're like, somebody who's linear is not really looking for answers, and they're like, you can't really make somebody.
Right. That's why I say don't make them. You got to be slick with it. You got to be crafty. You got to let the shit play. And just sit back like you don't know what the fuck it is either. And talk shit too. Like, man, what the fuck this nigga talking about? That's even better. That motherfucker gonna say, no, Joe, he had a point. Now, oh, okay, yeah. But if you bring it to him like you're telling them this shit, it ain't gonna work like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way to approach that situation, because a lot of people that's woke might be surrounded by sleep people, and they want to try to get it out some type of way. But they don't understand is that these things you're speaking about is happening in their life, but you're too close. As me and Blau say, too close is, how the fuck you know this? Nigga, I grew up with you. Where you get this information from? You know what I'm saying? We the same age. How the fuck you gonna tell me something? And a lot of times it's your older parents that say, like, nigga, how you gonna tell me something? I raised you. Right. That shit goes on. So that's the distortion. That's the blocking mechanism, the ego. So I tell you, a lot of intellectual talk, you got to break the ego. That's why I say in the Bible, you got to learn from a child. You can learn, but you got to be humble enough to learn from a motherfucker. So little studies say, if you ever watched, what's that movie when dude was on the L and he got killed, got shot? Fruval Station. Remember his daughter told him, Daddy, don't go? Right. If he was under the non-linear act, he'd have been thinking like, okay, my daughter is closer to God than I am. She just got here. She's trying to tell me something. You know what? I ain't going. Non-linear is like, oh, baby, I'm going to be back. Daddy love you. And you go. See what I'm saying? Non-linear would have seen the knowledge in the child in the look in her eye telling him, Daddy, don't go. He'd have felt the spirit. Remember saying non-linear thinker can feel energy. A higher perception, and then it would have told him, you know what I'm saying? But he went.
Right. Let me ask you this. I didn't heard you break, not to get too advanced, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't heard you break shit down. And like you say, I'm trying to break this down quick too, but I'm going to end it with this point unless you got something else. But I do, like you say, it is intergalactical talk, so I say, fuck it, we going to go a little advanced. You were talking about dimensions and, you know what I'm saying? The difference between you were saying, I forget how you say this shit. You said some shit like upper second, lower third, upper third. You know what I'm saying? As far as what area of space somebody, even though we all sharing the same planet, people are in actually different dimensions, and then even in that dimension, there's an upper and lower part of that dimension, and how that applies to what you were saying, linear and nonlinear thinking. Like break that down under what you were saying, through the universe.
All right,
dimensions, I mean.
Under the Dimension Act, each dimension, we just going to go 4 dimensions. It's 4 U's. It's a you before you, a you now, a you in the 3rd dimension, and a you in the 4th dimension. And the higher you get, the more advanced you are. But what they do is keep you from existing in the 4th dimension by keeping you locked in the 3rd. The first, where the 2nd dimension or the 3rd dimension. First, real
quick pause. Just give me a fast forward breakdown of the 4th dimension and the 3rd dimension and the 2nd dimension. Just a quick.
The first one is just animals. That's what you see, the stage of life. The second one is animal to man. You see what I'm saying? So that would be like a lot of like animal nature, just regular. I gotta eat, shelter, food, that shit. Basic thinking, basic shit. Just life, just eat and make a living.
So that's the second one?
Yeah, that's like animals. That's when you come from animal to human.
Oh, okay.
Right. 3rd dimension is when you become a conscious human. When you come from animal to human, and in the 3rd dimension, you become a conscious human.
Mm-hmm.
So most people are stuck in the 2nd dimension. Like I call them, they just learning how to be man. So you see a lot of foreigners or Hispanics or people that just learning how, just happy to have a house, a car, and raise a family and have a lot of kids. They're just happy to be man. That's an animal coming from the animal sphere to the human sphere, happy just to be a human. So they enjoy the similar things in life. And you get to the third when you're conscious, you're thinking outside of the normal animal shit, inventions and shit like that. But then when you get to the 4th sphere, that would be like the lower level of the 4th sphere is you reaching your godly self.
Mm.
The higher level is you at your godly self. But at the lower level, there's lower level 4th sphere entities. That's negative. So these would be like gang chiefs, you know what I'm saying? The white man, not so much predominantly, but the white man, that's like a lower 4th sphere entity. Because he's technically more advanced than us. He's at the bottom of the 4th, fucking with the higher of the 3rd. So he's in our 4th dimension of ourself, which is the highest.
So lower 4th and upper 3rd is kind of like the same shit.
That's the war ground. That's the battleground. We trying to get to the upper 4th.
Upper 2nd and lower 3rd is basically kind of the same shit.
We ain't gonna get to that. We just gonna say God bodies is the upper 3rd, and Satan groups, or the forces, the Illuminati is at lower 4th. And we reading right there. We try and get up past their ass to our higher self, the 4th. But they holding us down because they're already in the higher dimension than us, so they know a little bit more than us. But they're at the lower level of it, which is person under us at the lower 3rd is a sleep nigga trying to wake up. Now we can keep him down because we at the upper 3rd. If we wanted to, we could choose to keep him down, you see what I'm saying? Or keep the 2nd that's trying to come to the 3rd, the lower 3rd to keep the animal down, which is the basic man go get a dog. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you apply it to linear and nonlinear thinking?
Linear thinking is at the first beginning stage is animal to man. Nonlinear thinking is going from animal to man to God and man, God body.
Mm. So linear thinking is like what, second dimension?
Yeah, 2nd dimension, lower 2nd, higher 2nd. Higher 2nd is when you
nonlinear is what?
Is lower 3rd, upper 3rd.
Mm.
Just the 3rd dimension, period. Just the 3rd dimension, period. Potential.
Just being aware of something other than the day-to-day animalistic shit that I'm doing.
That's why they got the 3rd eye. 2 eyes, you just see linear thinking. With the 3 eyes, you see non-linear thinking. You see behind what you see. You see what I'm saying? Which is a way to it is the imagination.
So before I give this information to somebody, I want to look at them and see, okay, like, do they thinking more animal or do they thinking more?
I'm more animal, but more linear. Is everything just black and white? You know what I'm saying? They never ask how the hell Trump become the president. They just say Trump's the president. You know what I'm saying? They never ask what the fuck do Kanye West mean when he say what he said. They said, no, he said he like Trump. Okay, but what do we mean by we've been in slavery for 400 years, we must like it. Now I'm even thinking they're gonna say, he right. I gotta fuck, that's a long ass time to put up with some shit. So we must be talking. Then you'll think of the nigga say, oh, he's with the white man. Like, there you go. It's like, no, nigga, you do something for 400 years, gee, that's a long ass time. I mean, remember, 1600s to that, 30 years is a long time. 400 years, come on, see what I'm saying? So he's saying, we let a motherfucker kick us in the ass for 400 years.
Right.
Now nigga, you're thinking. So
I got
perception is different. His perception is different. His perception is basically controlled with the animal thinking. It's in the animal thinking because it's controlled with the emotions. He's thinking from the emotions. What the hell do you mean? Like the dude he was arguing with, man, you hurt my feelings. You standing up there with my ear, you talking about, and that's animal. He ain't thought about what Kanye West said. Kanye West said, no, nigga, I said, you've been slave for 20 years. You must like it.
Well, is that true? Okay, you talking to people with linear mind. He's talking about people with linear mind. They're like, okay, you got people walking around with linear mind for 400 years. You say, so,
yep.
Okay, then, right. So do you deserve, psychopath mind try to control linear thinking mind? He try to move them like sheep. You know what I'm saying? So is he wrong? Right. And now is he wrong? If he look at a motherfucker and say, okay, this motherfucker sleep, I can manipulate this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Is he wrong for doing that?
No, because if you wasn't there, you'll stay asleep. At some point, something got to shake your ass. And what he's doing is he Thanos. He's the Thanos effect. Like you said, you sitting here crying about what I did, but their belly is full now and they got plenty places to stay. Go to the country that you said I killed and see how it looks. So shit, that's how that goes.
Mm. So they don't have no mercy. The psychopath ain't gonna have no mercy on the motherfucker who got linear thinking.
Hell no, because he feel like you bogus. So allowing yourself to think like this. Shit, he mad at you more than you mad at you. You mad at him.
Well, the psychopath, he more mad at you. What you think?
Yeah, he more mad at you more than you mad at him if you knew what he was on. He mad at you. You think you mad at him. He upset with your ass. Like, damn, that's the Jewish lick. Like, damn, these motherfucking niggas is this stupid, huh? That's the Jewish. It's like Jewish looking niggas. That's why they do it like that. The Bill Cosby Act. They like, yo, you're bogus. You got $1 billion and you want to buy NBC to do what? Get another billion, or you don't do nothing for your people? And you're thinking. They get tired of seeing that shit. They want to see somebody spark like Jay-Z. You got you get up out of that hell. You know what I'm saying? Non-linear, right? Yeah. They want to see this now. They're tired of the average linear nigga.
Mm. Damn. I got it.
Yeah, he had no imagination, G, so he day raping women. Not only did he think he would never have this problem, especially with money. I'm talking about shit without money. This nigga got money. So you tell you got to deep this shit go.
That nigga Godbrand still raping me.
There you go. That's how you got to deep it go.
Damn. All right, well, we got the chat
open. I ain't keep going to jail.
Hey, if anybody got any questions, ask it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I have a question to ask. You know what I'm saying? Forever hold your peace. But what you say? I'm going to wrap it up after you. What you say?
For that black going to jail. Shit like that. Like, I hear another one of the Toys versus Meek Mill. Now I'm in there thinking, she like, put me in the shout out in your music and I won't lock your ass up. Me, I'm thinking like, bitch, fuck you, I ain't to do that. Now I'm nigga like, oh, I got you. What the fuck? I ain't got to go through none of that. I give you one even iller. They said niggas not snitching. But you at war. Is this rules to war? No. So fuck that. I'm going to be at that nigga ass and I'm going to put the police on his ass and I'm going to tell him what he's doing. So now you got me and the police on his ass. That's not letting you think. What's one more painful? You shit. Worry about the police and niggas or just worry about a nigga? You know what I'm saying? Down there thinking like, no, ain't no fucking fair. Ain't no fair, nigga. I'm gonna shut you down.
Damn.
He gonna win. Trust me. Tell me. He got the 5 at your shit, and then he wait until they leave and he come to spray you. He gonna win. versus you waiting on him by yourself. You know what I'm saying? He gonna win. He got more guns. But yeah,
Kanye frequency.
But Kanye feel like the reason he gravitating towards Trump is because they both air signs. So if you know something about astrology, they both got that same type of shit.
They both similar.
Well, there you go. That's why Kanye West feel him. You don't even know why. Kanye West feel him because they both the same sign. And what he telling niggas is, get off the black and white. You know what I'm saying? Go sit here and get mad. That ain't gonna do shit. Let's try to do another approach to it. Let me go holler at this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Kick some shit to him. Both of us the same sign, so he gonna feel me just like
but that thought ain't gonna. The thought too foreign, and then like the way it comes through the subconscious, it ain't gonna sound the way it ain't gonna sound how it sounded in your head. Like you know when it come out of the matrix, like it ain't gonna be received the way it sounded in your head.
You'll find there's a lot of spiritual people with a lot of sleep people, not a lot of linear people, but a lot of linear thinking people, and that's a sad, depressing situation. And it ain't you. It's just that this motherfucker is not. It ain't his time. You know what I'm saying? But you got to still travel. You can't give up. You can't appease. You can't be like, no, you got to keep on the road you're going. Pretty soon, evidently, they'll see everything you're saying. By that time, it might not matter. 60 years old, they're talking about, yeah, I finally understand what you're saying. Please. Shit. I'm gone.
Hell no. That shit nuts. Alright, well, shit, we ain't got no questions this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's all answers. You know what I'm saying? But if it's anything, last thoughts you want to say, before I wrap it up?
Yeah, basically, this is a gauge for all the people out there. Alright, this is a gauge for all the people out there that's building, meaning it's conscious, meaning it's woke. And they listen to something, they get the urge to want to tell people, but they feel like, damn, I told such and such, They look at me like I was crazy. First, you got to realize that there is a thing called a gauge to measure this thing that which you can perceive or act or do, which is called what we say in line linear or linear, what we give you. And what that means is, let me see if this motherfucker is just straight line, nothing new, black and white, cut straight forward, no imagination. Or do it their free spirit or think outside the box. Therefore, the things they do, say you going to McDonald's, say let's eat inside, they say no, let's get there and drive and go home. You know, like, okay, this motherfucker really don't want to do nothing outside the norm. Say let's take a walk, they say no, let's drive. You say okay, so you can't really go nowhere with that. First the person says shit, let's walk to the store, get some of this air. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. Okay, cool. You know, let's run today. Run, you know, motherfucker, not linear. Run, you crazy. I'm leaning like, yeah, what that do? You know, shit, open up the bloodstream, make time go by faster because you vibrating at a higher level because your heart rate is pumping. Open up just the chakras. You know what I'm saying? So once you know it's a gauge, you'll know whether to waste your time or not. And if you're still in the situation where you still want to present it, you feel you need to present it, do it in a way where it ain't you talking. I mean, if you got the radio talk show, play the shit, let it be playing, let the motherfuckers sit there be talking. You know, running their mouth, but they're going to start listening. And then that's how you start there. You just act like you don't know what the fuck it is either. Always teach dummies by asking them a question. That's what you call they dumb ass mind to spark and think for the answer. Let them think. You see what I'm saying? They giving you the answer. But you really lead them to the answer with a question. Like, if Jesus was black, if Jesus was white, then why do white people get sunburned in the sun? And he's from Africa, so you telling me, you know what I'm saying? They ain't had suntan lotion back then, right? So if he's black, he's like, well, what you mean, nigga? Like, nigga, is Jesus black or white? He said he's white. And he came from Africa? Yeah, I ain't think about that. You is right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. I don't even know that's how it goes. You already know the fucking answer, but you know, ask them a question. Especially your parents or somebody older. Teach them to ask them the damn question. Man, you look up. Yeah, look up. What you mean, look up? Look up, man, in the sky. You see them planes, they be flying that shit. Let them have planes. He's like, man, don't nobody fly that high, do they? No. And what is that shit? They be crossing and fall, you know. It's like I always wonder what that was. You know what I'm saying? That shit. Now you gonna start researching it and thinking about the shit. But you tell them, man, you know those chemtrails? The Illuminati spraying chemtrails to kill the population. They like, man, get your ass on my face. It ain't gonna work like that. All right. They too linear thinking.
Linear. Right.
Yeah. Church, Sunday church, Easter egg, Christmas tree in the house, Valentine's Day, a heart, you know what I'm saying? Sweetest Day, on some panties, you know, that's it. And you keep doing the same shit. Non-linear gonna say, fuck all that, we're gonna make our own holidays and we're gonna take the day off or whatever and get together and do this and that. Non-linear. Right. So if I know Christmas is on Christmas, everybody gonna be at the damn store. I'm gonna say Christmas a month before and celebrate that shit. Man, all that shit, you know, ain't gotta go to none of the hustle and bustle. But that's it, you know, it's a gauge. Don't pass birds to swine unless you know it's swine. You know what I'm saying? Not to call people swine, but don't waste your time trying to wake up the dead. It's not meant for them to be woke.